Hello everyone and welcome back. This week we'll be shooting digital photography on a much more modern camera, and we're going to be taking the skateboard instead of the car. This location is really close to where I live, and these back roads it's much better to take a skateboard than a car. So the plan is to head down these back roads to a set of locations where I've shot a lot in the past, in different seasons, mostly in the winter, and this time to take some nice summer shots there. On the way, I noticed this amazing ploughed field. It'd just been ploughed that day, and I noticed over the hill there was some really cool symmetry and pattern in the hill. So it was one of these shots where you hold the camera above your head, can't really see the screen for the sun, but try your best and hope you get something reasonable. And in this case, I'm really happy with how it turned out. There's a few things need to be done in editing in this photo, but overall, amazing, really good start. Very, very happy with that. So we continued down the road, still on the skateboard, to head for some other locations further down this road. There was a few locations I had to skip because everyone seemed to be out fishing this day, and I didn't want to disturb anyone fishing. The next stop there was this river, and this was a really tough shot to take because of the high contrast between the sun and the shadows. Shooting into the sun is really, really difficult. We were at the end of the day, just before golden hour, and it was causing huge problems in this case. So you can see I'm struggling slightly with how to expose this image. In the end, I chose to use a long shutter speed, and that's why the camera's tripod mounted, and to use an ND filter, variable ND filter, to try and control the light. And this image ended up turning out slightly dark, but overall 5 out of 10, reasonably happy with this one. Another trick I use to make sure the camera's stable without using a cable release is just to use a self timer. I set it to 10 seconds for this one because the tripod was on the grass and it was all a little bit wobbly, but overall the image did turn out to be reasonably stable despite that, if just a little bit underexposed. So a little bit of room for improvement here, but I'm sure it's something we can fix in the edit. So for the next photo, what we did was just spun the camera around. It was literally on the other side of this bridge, and you can see those nice golden sunset tones starting to sneak in here, and they managed to come into this image in a really nice way. You can see it more once it's been edited, but the colours definitely are there in the raw file. So same again, shot with long exposure, ND filter and self timer to keep the camera stable. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Composition's maybe a little bit weak, but the overall colour, it's a nice image. For the next one I decided to shoot an experiment with a slightly longer lens. This is a 55 to 200mm lens. The 200mm lens is definitely something I need to experiment more with for landscape. As you can see here, I'm hunting around looking for a composition, and this is what I settle with in the end, and I'm 70% happy with this. The colours are nice, the composition is nice. I look for a slightly closer image with the lens fully zoomed in, but there's nothing here I get that I'm particularly happy with. I do take a photo in the end, but I'm convinced it's not something that I'll use. After that, I decided to go over this fence and down to try and get down closer towards the river and get some photos of the bridge. After working out how to get through this fence, it turned out to be really, really heavy, this gate. It works perfectly, it works exactly as you would expect, but it's really, really hard to get through. I headed down the hill, down this thin path that's clearly been made by people coming down here. It's a path that's not originally been put there, so it's always really good. It always gives you unique photos if you go to places that people don't ordinarily walk. And I could not believe my eyes when I got down here. Look at the light on that bridge. This is absolutely fantastic. It will lend itself to the digital photography really well here. So this was the final photo overall, and I believe one of the strongest photos we took in this session. It didn't take long to frame or compose this, and the colours really do speak for themselves. I decided to go with a long exposure here, which may have been a bit of a mistake. and I'll explain why later, but this was the final image we got. I've missed on the composition slightly, it's a little bit too much to the right. That last cut off archway doesn't look right to me, but the reflection does look good, and we can fix this in editing. So after that, I decided to head down onto the gravel bank beside the river to see if we could get any nicer photos and to see if the light would improve. So I waited there for about 10, 15, 20 minutes to see if the light would improve and see if we could get anything better. I was hoping that the sun would set and cast sunset shadow or sunset light on the clouds like you see just behind the trees on the right. I was hoping for that to cover the whole sky, but we didn't get it. The light was getting lower, so after that I decided just to head home. So this is what we got overall. I think we got 6 reasonably strong images. There's some I definitely like more than others, and there's some I'm absolutely desperate to edit, and some that I don't really know what I'm going to do with. But that's often the case. You get some you really like and some you don't. Certainly the case this time. So in terms of editing, everything's kept very basic as always, just simple changes to colour. In this one I decided to change the colour, add some contrast to get those lines looking great, and edit out with the patch tool the little branch on the left. For this one, the exposure had to be lifted and to get some more detail. I'm really happy with the detail on the wall. The nice colours and the vignette on this photo has made it so much nicer. On this one, the editing was very similar to the last one. It was just a case of getting the colours out. This is maybe a little bit too colourful. It didn't look as colourful before I put it into the video editor, but I'm maybe not as happy with the following 3 photos here because they have just turned out so colourful. But compositionally they're pretty good, so I'm happy to re-edit them at a later date. For this photo, everything turned out well, but just a little bit too colourful. This one, I'm not sure I'm going to do much with this. It's not very good compositionally, so it got a kind of lazy edit and not much more as a result. For this one, this is definitely the strongest photo of the day. I can't believe the way this turned out. It was a case of pointing a camera at something nice and everything else is done for you. I cropped it slightly to get rid of the mistake I made with the cropping on the archway on the right. Changed the exposure slightly and added some colour, and this is what we got. I'm so happy with this photo, and I'm so glad that I decided to go down the hill and try and find. Thank you so much for joining me this week. We got some really cool photos after all. Next week we'll have black and white photography in an amazing location, so please make sure to join again next week for that video.